Hello, and welcome to Let's Talk Real Estate and Stuff, the podcast where we dive deep into the world of real estate investing and the random stuff that makes life interesting. I'm John Whitfield, joined by my co-hosts Carlos Zamora from InvestorFuse and Carrot, and Brandon, aka Pop P. This might be, I think we're at, I don't know, 100 and something, 15, 20-ish episodes. This may be only the second podcast that Brandon's ever missed. I think I have the record for the most absences in podcast history.
We're single digit though across the board. I think I'm pretty confident we're single digit, so that shows our consistency and persistence.
Yes, that's it. Consistency and persistence. I like it.
And he'll be updating us. He'll be updating us next week why he's not on. He's doing his monthly or weekly park visits, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, I think it's his new park in Georgia. He's been heading up there a lot. Just his most recent purchase, just a lot of upfront work, I think, going into stuff. But yeah, and then we are here at Carrot/InvestorFuse are starting 4-day work weeks for the summer. I'm curious what your perspective is on 4-day work weeks, Carlos. How do you feel about them? What are you thinking going into this? Because this is our first experience with 4-day work weeks at InvestorFuse. We never did them, and we only just became full Carrot people in
August 14th.
Yeah, August. We're coming up on getting close to a year now.
I know, that's crazy. Time really flies. It really does. I know people say that all the time, but looking back, like the perception of time is always so much faster than it actually feels in the day to day and week to week. 4-day work weeks. I don't know. I've never had them before. So it'll be cool to see. It's exciting, and I appreciate that they're doing that. That Carrot does that as a company, which is pretty cool. So I'm excited. I'll probably end up doing more personal type work during those. Like I already moved some of my like monthly review from the past week and like looking at personal finance meeting and stuff like that. I already moved that to Friday. So I'm at least going to be in the office, quote unquote, in the morning, but it's nice that I don't have like scheduled meetings all day and busy, but it'll be cool. But I'm going to try to get outside and stuff a lot too. Like I'll probably try to get outside for a little bit tomorrow. And I have a Spanish lesson at 4 or 5 tomorrow, so I got to be in the office here anyway.
That's what I'm attempting to do with our family. We're going more outdoor activities on the Fridays, rolling stuff, which we don't usually do a lot of during the summer, just because if we go on the weekends, and I mean we like to go to like the springs where the water is cold, it tends to be very busy. So I'm excited to do some stuff on Friday instead. When maybe it's not as busy. Yeah, it's intriguing 4-day work weeks. Like they posted an article when Carrot was talking about it, and they're kind of basing this off of Buffer, big kind of social media app, who's done 4-day work weeks, who do it permanently, not just for like a season of the year. They do it permanently, and they're talking about how they judged performance and so on and so forth, and it didn't really wane at all. And I can certainly see that. And I mean, even today and just other people in the company, I see like a lot of momentum to like wrap things up for the week today. So that tomorrow is like, I really can disconnect and detach. But I'm curious, like from a perspective of like actual time-based activities, right? I think there has to be less meetings in the week in order for you to be able to keep the same level of performance up, because you need more time to get the actual work done. So less meetings is important. But from like a sales standpoint, where you're like, my calendar gets filled based off of the time that I'm available, when you knock out 8 hours of that in a week. I'm curious to see from a lead perspective, if you see your calendar like get booked up, or do the leads adjust to the fact that they can't book a meeting with you on Friday, and you just get more meetings during Monday and Thursday, and can maintain the same weekly pace that you did before. So yeah,
it'll be interesting to see. And yeah, it's interesting because I guess like some countries in Europe and other places in the world, maybe some more new age progressive companies do like a permanent 4-day work week. So it'll be interesting. Typically, though, for just book meetings, I think in SaaS or maybe like sales type meetings, typically Monday is like the most important day. That's like usually what gets filled up. Friday, which is nice, I think, just being out of office, those tend to be the slower type days, I would think.
Yeah, I agree. And I definitely think people check out on Fridays, and they're just
Mhm.
like the weekend is starting. So it's interesting to say if Thursday's your last day, does that same behavior happen on Thursday, or is it like, okay, I get it in 3-day work or 3-day weekend, let me bust my butt and actually
Mhm.
like stay a lot more motivated and connected through the end of Thursday, like rather than the end of Friday.
Yeah, it'll be cool to see, but definitely appreciative of it. It'll be interesting to see, but definitely want to have some more reading time, chilling, get outside if it's nice. Which luckily for us, it's usually nice out, so I'm excited
Yeah.
for that.
So in this
Oh, I
episode
was going to say
today,
one of the things I will be looking at tomorrow is some of what we're going to be talking about today is the outline, and just we're not doing a strict structure outline, just some bullet points that we want to hit on. It's going to be very conversational. Nick Perry and Brandon Sepulveda want to keep it like low key, casual, conversational. They're super pumped about it as well. But the Carrot Summit next week. So
yeah,
that
Carrot
is what we're
Summit.
speaking on next week, that's Carrot's biggest event of the year. Free event to attend live, which is really, really cool. Check out the QR code. Thank you, John, for putting that below. So we're super pumped for that. I've watched it, went impromptu on it last year, which was really cool, just showing InvestorFuse a little bit. So it's an honor for InvestorFuse to have some time on there, and really, really cool. So we're stoked for that. A lot of cool speakers. Trevor and Brady are the main keynote speakers, but they got some awesome people in as well. Jamil Damji is one of the keynote speakers. He's a big guy in the space, of course. So we're super excited for that. Check the QR code there. You'll see some of the speakers, and then you could register. Make sure to just put your email name in there, and then you can get registered, see all the event stuff and info that you need.
Super cool event. I mean, it's free. Why should you should register? Absolutely. You're not being charged anything. I don't even think that I don't even think there's anything being sold, or maybe there is, but for the most part, like recordings. Okay, so if you watch it live, then you're not missing anything from anybody that's being paid. I think though, if you purchase the recordings, you get previous years, which is a pretty cool benefit.
Oh, that's cool.
So you're not only just getting one summit, you're getting all the summits when you purchase the recordings, which is fun. But yeah, no, it's super cool event. A lot of really great people coming. So you're talking having one session. You doing one session or multiple?
One session. Yeah, one session next Thursday.
One session with the infamous Nick Perry. Want to Sell Now, a longtime InvestorFuse customer, a current InvestorFuse IF3 customer, and then Brandon, who people probably have seen on stage with Nick, and he does speak on stage without Nick, but he is actually the CEO of Want to Sell Now. Is involved in the coaching business as well to a high degree. So Nick kind of gets to go around the country. I mean, for the record, Nick,
around the world,
yeah. Nick put in a lot of time into his business and grew it from nothing to what it is now. He found Brandon very early on in the process and made Brandon the CEO to kind of run the day-to-day operations. And, Nick he travels to Austin, is in the office a lot, and is very involved with the team. But it's always great. I'm an operator, so I love it when the operators get to be on these kind of things too and speak to the operational side of things. And, to give Nick credit, he knows, I feel like, a lot more about the operations of his business on a day-to-day level than most business owners do at his level. It seems like most of them kind of check out, but he's very much involved, very much aware, knows everything that's going on. So yeah, it'd be an exciting conversation to see the three of you guys up there talking. So I'm looking forward to that.
Likewise.
May or may not be going to Summit as well. We're currently trying to figure out. There is a big announcement that involves what I do happening at Summit in one of Trevor's keynotes. I may or may not be coming on to his keynote to talk about it. We're still figuring that out part. But there is a very exciting announcement happening during one of Trevor's talks, I believe on the second day. So make sure you register and watch that. You might see my face, you might not, but when you hear what's being talked about, you'll know it's my handiwork. So
exactly. Pumped for that.
Excited for that as well. So yeah, register for Summit, go to Summit, get inspired, learn some things. I think there's a lot of as well going on inside of the Carrot community related to Summit as well, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you haven't joined that, I'm sure you will during Summit or via emails be asked to kind of join the Carrot community on Facebook so that you can be a part of those kind of Summit conversations that are happening there as well.
Exactly. So yeah, big week next week. As far as getting into the tactical follow-up, that's the subject we're talking about, is tactical follow-up for inbound leads. And I was even going to hit up John and Brandon, just get some of their ideas of like, hey, what are some good topics to talk about? The last few episodes, we've been talking a lot of overlapping instances and areas inside of InvestorFuse where inbound leads would be coming in. In my opinion, although you can do any type of marketing and have those leads come into InvestorFuse, I do think that you get the most juice out of the squeeze with inbound leads for the autoresponders that come in. Because for the most case, if you're doing cold calling, let's say you're doing cold calling or texting, it's not it's a qualitative decision, of when those leads get pushed in. You're either just your company's either just finishing up a text conversation with that seller, or they're finishing up a phone conversation. So if you want to go for like the professional type angle that Sean Terry popularized a couple years ago, like the 1-800 fair offer, where you're sending like surveys after appointments, like asking how we did, you could set up an autoresponder in theory, like, hey, thanks for talking to our sales team. We're going to have a house buying specialist chat with you. Yeah. That could be good. Where, however, for inbound leads, that's like a mandatory feature, a text message that pulls their first name, lets you know who they are, helps with speed of lead, helps with any type of psychological buyer's remorse of filling out that form on your site. So for InvestorFuse, I love that. Also, the lead assignment is huge that we've been talking about, like how those leads get routed in. So we're definitely going to dive into that with Nick and Brandon and how other people can do it too. Because even if you're an individual, you would have all that stuff go to you, but it's still a good understanding of what happens when you bring somebody on. Because typically in acquisitions, when you're bringing somebody on, they're helping with more top of funnel people, like people that are just coming in, where ideally you're talking to people that are more ready to hear an offer, which we may be talking about contracts and new features inside InvestorFuse coming out as well. So when I'm talking about InvestorFuse, the first of 2 leverage points I go through is capturing leads from all your marketing. We're going to be talking about inbound leads specifically next week. KPIs for those, key performance indicators, where if you're somebody that's not necessarily going to be like a revenue generating feature for you, day one signing up or starting to do, pay-per-click. However, 6 months, it's going to give you advantageous insight into how to adjust or position your marketing that you just would have no idea. Otherwise, you'd just be doing like gut, qualitative instead of having the numbers.
Put your costs into InvestorFuse, people. Come on.
Exactly. Yeah, put your costs into InvestorFuse. I'm going to get a shirt that says that. So the KPIs, the lead assignment I talked about, and the auto response text. So all that is huge, especially for inbound with the auto response text. And I think the psychology of inbound, which we've jammed about on this show before, is really, really cool as well and beneficial for folks. We talked about it on the PPL. We talked about that cold calling when Papa P's broke down, kind of like building a cold calling in-house team there. For me, most conversations I want in life or in business are inbound conversations. I'm completely cool with that. You have to do outbound for certain things and be the on the forefront or the aggressor in a conversation with somebody. But I am a huge fan of inbound leads and conversations, just for the frame of them, ready to talk with you. Even some of the HVAC leads that we're having coming in are really cool, where it's people searching for HVAC websites. Like those conversations are really, really good.
It'd be interesting to have that conversation when he and Brandon, they do something very not unique. Maybe not unique. They do their autoresponder is different in the sense of that it asks for that lead to go fill out another form, which for the most part, like people have definitely done this, right? An inbound lead comes in and then you send them to a form and they go fill it out. And I think what most people's opinion based off of that, through just general public opinion, is that's not a great thing to do. It's a lot of friction. The sellers have to put more information in and they're wondering why. But you should definitely kind of lean into that when you're asking about this next week, because they have found it to be incredibly successful. They already have a form that gets filled out on their website. They don't have a Carrot website, so it's not they don't have the 2-step form where like you get a short amount of information, and then in Carrot sites you get a second form that's a lot bigger and more information. They just have a short form that goes in. I think it's maybe like 4 to 5 pieces of information, and then they get a text message from the person. Like we do a round robin to the acquisitions manager. From the acquisitions manager, they then get a text message via the autoresponder to go fill out this form, which is kind of like Carrot's 2-step form,
right?
But it's a very intriguing qualification step to see who is motivated enough to continue to put information in and is more excited about the potential for you to help them, and therefore they're willing to take the extra time to put their information down. So they've tested that out a lot, and they've stuck with it for a few years now, and have seen great results with that kind of autoresponder. And then you should definitely dig into their senior acquisitions to, I can't remember if they call them junior acquisitions or follow-up specialist relationships, but they have a core group of seniors and then a good group of follow-up specialists, and they are both working the leads at the same time. And they use the push to automations as well. Once they get the lead to kind of like, this isn't in senior acquisitions, it goes to just juniors. But new leads coming in, they have a very strict process that they try to hit for calling and texting, which involves not just senior acquisitions, but the follow-up specialists as well at the same time. So a lot of cool information you guys can get out of that convo
Cool.
next week. Love it. Sign up for Summit.
Yeah.
Scan that QR code. If you just go to summit.carrot.com is the URL to also get to that page. I would imagine, if you go to carrot.com, at the very top of the homepage is also a banner to sign up for Summit. So get on that, peeps, and go watch the Summit next week. Tuesday and Wednesday, right?
I believe it is Wednesday, Thursday.
Okay. See? I don't even know. Wednesday, Thursday. Cool. All right. Well, let's talk some InvestorFuse stuff. I'm gonna share my screen here, make sure that this works. I'm gonna hide this Summit QR code. And kind of talk about some fun things over here at InvestorFuse. So we are in a interesting period here at InvestorFuse. We're doing some top secret work, which if you come to the Carrot Summit, you will learn about next week. But besides that, we're entering what we're kind of classifying as like a beta period, where we're trying to rapidly push out features to a small group of customers to then test, give us feedback, so we can then iterate on those features. So we're finalizing up that beta group. It should be all launching next week. And one of the first things that is going to be included in that beta group is our new contract system. So we haven't demoed this on the podcast, right? Okay. I've demoed it to teams of people, so I sometimes lose track of where I've shown it and where I haven't shown it.
It's been brought up for sure, but I don't know if we've actually done a full.
Yeah.
Because I remember seeing it, and I remember seeing it in dev meetings.
Yeah. Yeah, we definitely have done it in dev meetings. So we do have a current contract system inside of InvestorFuse, and the way that system works is that you have to go out and purchase a piece of software called FormStack, and FormStack is, you need, which one? Documents, FormStack documents. Do they not even sell it by itself now? This is ridiculous. Document augmentation? I don't know. Anyways, here, $110 a month for documents, right? Which, if you are aware of how much we charge for our plans, that's a hefty bill to add on top of your InvestorFuse. And then on top of that, you then have to go and purchase some kind of electronic signature software, like a DocuSign here. And that, I believe, is based off of per user per month. So very quickly, you're at an additional $135 per month. And what happens is we send, hey, here are these. Like we do help you with this. So our team will go into FormStack, and you give us the contract. We upload it into FormStack. We go in and we say, here are the fields that we need in the contract. And then we connect it into your DocuSign, and then we connect FormStack into InvestorFuse, and InvestorFuse, there will be the like 6 fields of the contract. You fill them out in InvestorFuse. FormStack makes the document. The document is then just sent into DocuSign, and DocuSign sends it out to electronic signature. Man, that's a complicated process. But 3 years ago, when we built this process, this was what was available to us. However, there are now lots of better and different solutions out there to make contract signing more cohesive. So that whole process required 2 other applications for you to do. And in those 2 other applications you had to pay for yourself are now gone and included inside of InvestorFuse.
Sure.
So we have built our own contract system here, and I'm going to walk through and kind of show you what it looks like. And basically, you upload a contract. So I'm just going to do a podcast demo. And then inside of here, I can upload a contract. But before I do that, I have to set the role. So as we all know, multiple people have to sign a contract. So oftentimes what real estate investors will do is they'll have a contract that's 1 seller and 1 buyer, and then they'll have another contract that's 2 sellers and 1 buyer. So doing this roles lets you do really anything that you want. For the most part, we'll just do seller 1. Sign up for our company, so it's going to be John Whitfield, and let me see what email to do. Fused info. All right. Once you do that, you can then actually upload the contract. Let me find here it is. And so once we do that, we're save and continue, and you'll notice we get to an amazing embedded contract builder.
That's sweet.
You can customize your contract all right here with basically what fields that you want it to be on. Now, over here on the left-hand side, you've got the ability to choose between a seller or a buyer. And so those are the fields associated to that signer. Now, the key difference here, and the biggest, most important factor that we still have to figure out how to display this to our customer base, because we're using a lot of APIs to do this functionality. And that's why this feature is going out to the beta group first, is they help us with this kind of feedback. There are 2 types of fields that you will put on your contract. The ones that need to be pre-populated from the moment the contract is sent, and then the fields that information will be inputted in by the people signing the contract. So those fields that need to be pre-populated from the moment that you send the contract are things like the purchase price, the deposit, any of these kind of fields that we have that are blank and you would normally fill out per opportunity. They can be done in here, but they have to be done as what's called a label field. So you'll see here, this line right here means that these fields will be pre-populated from the very beginning and are not associated to a role. So we plug that in, you basically just drag and drop it, right? So I can just call this deposit, drag it out to kind of match to the size here. And then this here is going to be purchase price. Drag that out as well. And then down here is where I have my attribute signer field. So I'm on the seller 1. So I just drop in a signature field here. Maybe extend that out a little bit, and then a date signed field here for that seller. And then I switch to the buyer, drop in my signature field for that, and the date signed field there, and then extend that out, and I'm done. So now I've got all the fields that I want in here: my deposit, my purchase price, and then my 2 sign fields. So I'm going to create that template, and then what that does is it communicates to our system, hey, we made a new contract for you. And what we do is we automatically detect and recognize the fields that came in from that. So where did my podcast demo go? Go over to fields. So now I have these two label fields that came in, and I do believe that I messed up there, and I did not set the right label. I think I set this is the value, not the label. Deposit. We don't need a value here, and then purchase price. All right. And then so you can see I'm just updating what's happening with the contract, and then our system will as well also update and show you the new fields here. So there we go, deposit and purchase price. So there are other aspects to this that I didn't bring up, but they're in here. So when you first start using InvestorFuse contracts inside the system, we have you set up a brand ID, which is like your brand colors, your logo, because that's used in the emails that go out from this electronic signature. And then we also make you set up senders. So the biggest issue that we had and why we built it in FormStack and using FormStack, 3 years ago, was because there wasn't what's called a multi-tenant solution out there. Multi-tenant means that you, the customer of InvestorFuse, don't have to own the electronic signature, but we are still legally able to send electronic signatures out for you because you agree to them. So when you go in here, you put in your email address, you'll get an email from our backend tool that powers all of this that says, hey, do you authorize them to send these electronic signatures on your behalf? And boom, now everything's legal. And so you won't be able to actually send these until you verify that email that comes out. Now, in terms of using this inside of the system, it's all very, very simple. Let me just find an opportunity here, and we'll kind of go through the flow here. So I'm going to go ahead and send a contract now, and I can choose my contract. So all of my contracts are in here. If you have been using FormStack, don't worry. You can still use your FormStack ones and the new ones at the same time. Let me find my podcast demo. So you'll see here, all of the fields that we put into that kind of building area show up. So I've got my seller one, I've got my buyer one, and you saw I pre-populated that information there. There's my deposit, there's my purchase price. So let's fill this out. So we'll call this John Seller, and we'll do John plus one property propertyfuse.info. You can get them a special kind of signing instructions here if you want to. Let's say the deposit is 1,000, the purchase price is 120.
Where's the instructions go? Is that the subject line of the email?
The please sign this document shows up. This is a good question. We'll see it here in a minute. I don't remember. I believe it shows up when they click the link from the email. There is email instructions. I'm not sure if we have them here yet. There's this message field. I think that's something we're looking to enhance as well. But let me keep going, and we'll see where they show up. Cool. So please sign this document is the signing instructions. So how many days would you like this document to expire, no longer be able to sign? So this is your expiration date. You can set your own expiration date. Some people do 60, some people do 30, some people do 10. And they kind of say, in 10 days, this price will not be valid anymore, and therefore please sign the contract within 10 days. And then you've got this extra message here you can put in. Here is the purchase contract for your house, and then we name the contract whatever you've set up inside your settings. So we named the contract podcast demo, and then we put in the address here, but you can change that. And then you send that document out, and then we can go take a look to see what that looks like. Let's see if we might have. Oh, yeah, here we go. So here it is. So hi, John, as requested, review and sign document details. Okay, so the message for everyone, that was the message I put in at the very end. And then there was that private message for just this one specific signer is right here. So when I click review and sign, I'm put into bold sign, which is the backend tool that we're using for this. Again, the message for you, the document message are all there. I continue that. You can see the fields pre-populated here with what I inputted into InvestorFuse, straight from the action flow. And then I am the seller. You'll notice the buyer does not get an email until the seller has signed. So we have automatically put in signing order for this. And that's based off at the very beginning. You saw the roles we set up. We did the seller first. So that's what sets the signing order. Some cool things that happen on the InvestorFuse side. Let me just go ahead and finish filling this out. And you can do 40. And then let me just get to out of this. This actually might send me a second offer because that blue button nobody else sees but me. And so anyways, follow an offer tomorrow, complete the action. So if I go to the info tab of this opportunity now and I scroll down, some things that you'll see is inside the file attachments, we have files sent by the contact view document. So this is where we currently have it integrated, but we might move it somewhere else where we're looking to enhance the offers and contracts section. Again, like I said, this is very much we're beta testing this. We're wanting people's feedback, and we will continue to enhance it. We literally got to the point, like Armin, my lead developer, and I were like, we could do so much. We could just keep going and like keep building things with this API, making this cooler. But we wanted to stop and be like, let's get people to use this, tell us what they want. And then that's what we will like continue to build and make sure that we're spending time on what's useful for our customers versus us just like having fun. Mm-hmm. But this will show you the document in process. So I'm able to open up what was sent out via the electronic signature, and it will show in progress here until the point where everything is signed. So let me go through this and finish. So I sign here. You can draw. You can upload a signature. You can use the type. It automatically puts in the date, and then I can complete the signing. As soon as that happens, there'll be a new email come through. Yeah, that did trigger multiple. All right, this one is to John plus 2. Okay, yeah. So John plus 2, this is the buyer. So here's the buyer now gets this email. I can come in, I can review the document. I have to agree to the terms and conditions. I can see that the seller has signed. I then sign myself, plugs in the date, and I complete that signing. So now what will happen on the kind of InvestorFuse side of things is, let me give this a little refresh here. We do have it integrated into bring over if somebody views or completes or signs the document. It comes in the activity communication log. It's a little bit slower than what I can do in a live demo. In real world circumstances, it will work. And you'll see that populate in the activity log. But since I'm doing everything in rapid, succinct order, it doesn't show up. But when I go into the file attachments now, what we'll see is that it still says in progress. Am I on the? It's because I sent it. It's because I clicked the blue admin button, and I shouldn't have done that. If I had just completed the action like every other user in the world does, then it would change to be completed. But it messed up a little bit. That was my fault. We have that blue button just for testing so that we could rapidly send out documents, and it only works for people that are admins into the product, which is me. So my bad, a little bit of a bad demo. But what you would see instead here with the view document is it would say completed at the very bottom of this. It's going to show all of the electronic signature kind of path. Their signs, the IP addresses, everything that you need for it to be a legally binding electronic signature contract will all be there in the documents of the opportunity here. So we are incredibly excited about this. It's something we've long wanted to improve. I spent a lot of time researching how to make this work. We actually spent a little while working with DocuSign and trying to see if we could make it work with DocuSign's new API. And what we found there is that it would still encourage users would still have to go and sign up for DocuSign and then connect their own DocuSign account into InvestorFuse. And then from there, we could still do it inside the product. We wanted a seamless experience. Like, we just want people to be able to log into InvestorFuse, do everything in here, make deals happen for them. And so right now, like I said, this is going out to the beta group. If you're interested in the beta group, just send a message to the support team via the chat bubble inside of InvestorFuse, and we'll get you included on that. There's lots to still develop with these contracts, but like I said, we want user feedback. The way that this is going to work from a billing perspective, obviously, we can't let you send unlimited contracts because we do have to pay for it. During the beta, it will be free because we need just some people to use it. But we have built it with a credit system inside of InvestorFuse. We don't use it for anything yet. We built it a couple months ago to prepare for this, as well as to prepare for all the AI features that we're about to do and appointment functionality. And so we'll figure out the pricing, but depending upon the tier that you are inside of InvestorFuse, Essentials Pro Premium, you will get a set number of contracts included per month, and then anything additional you'll pay on top of that, and it will be a very minimal charge. It won't say what we're getting charged for a contract, but it makes us pass on very affordable pricing to you. I'm working on some pricing comparisons to people that are using like DocuSign and FormStack and stuff like that, and we'll kind of see how the pricing. I want to make it so we're a no-brainer choice. Like, why would you go anywhere else? Like, we will be cheaper than anything else that you have to use. So anyways, that all being said, super excited about it. Come join the beta if you're interested in it. What do you think, Carlos?
I'm pumped for it.
Yeah,
I'm pumped for it. People have been wanting it. This isn't to put our team, our devs, you on the spot. On our original version of Podio, being able to send contracts out via mail, people love that. But that's maybe a little bit far away. And I think practicality standpoint, a large majority of people do e-signature versus mailing stuff out.
Yeah, I haven't looked into how to do that. It might be possible with the functionality that we have here to use bold sign to generate a document that doesn't need any signers. Potentially, I'd have to look into this. And then we're working on some built-in Print Genie integration, so we could definitely use that to send that out. So yeah, no, I am down for that as well. I do think that the world has moved towards more electronic signature in general. I know there's still a subset of people out there that want to be able to print a contract, especially those that do in-person appointments. They want to be able to come with the contract. The interesting thing about this software, and one of the reasons I picked it, was because it actually has a embeddable signing page. So you could go on site with an iPad, load up the contract, and do electronic signature in person with this software. So when I saw that in these features, and when I was comparing this to other products that I was looking to integrate, I was like, that I could see that being important for our customer base, and what they will want to do. So
the Eric B functionality method.
Yes, the Eric B functionality method. Yes, exactly. The in-person appointments with bring your iPad, have a presentation, and then automatically open the contract and sign.
Right, 200 plus in-person appointments a year with a SOP all around using an iPad presentation and signing.
Yes. Yeah, it will be exciting. Looking forward to it. And I mean, from there, I'll tell you, I've picked out the software we're using for appointments. It will give us the ability to bring Google Calendar, Calendly, scheduling functionality into InvestorFuse. Everybody will be able to connect their personal calendars into InvestorFuse. And then we'll bring that into the action system so that when you go to an action and you want to put it on a date and put a time on it, it will show your calendar. It'll only let you pick things that you're available from. And what's even more exciting is it gives us the functionality to bring appointment booking into an AI lead manager, all in one solution, where the AI lead manager could be like, yes, I see Carlos has these 3 slots available over the next couple of days. Which one works for you? The person responds which one works for them. The AI lead manager automatically books that appointment for Carlos. It shows up on their calendar, so on and so forth. It will be an exciting world come the end of 2024 inside of InvestorFuse. So buckle up for the ride, peeps.
Even just without the AI, the Google Calendar integration, people always
even without it, it will be great. I mean, just like you've got a normal lead manager who like books things for you. They will no longer have to be like, all right, let me switch my screen, go look at my Carlos's Google Calendar, see when he's free, and then book an appointment. It will all be inside the action flow. They will automatically be able to see when Carlos will be free. So it will be very exciting. A lot of functionality there. Even to be able to like generate your own like calendar links, put it in follow-up sequences so people can book like meetings, like book a time with you when you're free. So when you're going on vacation, block your calendar out, and then you won't get things booked for you through InvestorFuse. So I'm so excited. It's just, and like our development team, quite frankly, is also very excited, because we're usually, what we do is we like work on a big feature for a while, and we push it to dev, and then we push it to stage, and then we push it to prod, and it's this like whole QA process. Because we're putting everything behind a beta flag, we're going straight to prod, like literally multiple times a week. Like we'll finish a feature, we'll push it out, we'll tell the beta group, go try it, give us your feedback. There might be some cases where we have to go deeper into a bigger QA system if we are touching parts of the system that have existed for a while. So just it's gonna be a great time. I'm excited for it. Excited to get customers very actively involved. We'll figure out a great cadence to have like a beta group phone call, Zoom session deal. We're thinking about a Slack channel so we can get immediate feedback as well. So it's gonna be great.
Super pumped for that. Big year, big back half of the year here.
Yeah, it is gonna be a big back half of the year. I'm excited for it. It'll be good.
Well, good stuff, man.
Yeah, very good stuff. Sign up for Summit. If you're a Carrot member, you'll hear some great things. If you're not a Carrot member, you'll hear some great things. If you don't know what Carrot is and you're just interested in real estate investing, and somehow you've made it to our amazing podcast, still go, because you'll learn some things about real estate investing, about anything you can think of will be at Summit. It'll be great. And yeah, you'll see Carlos there. You may or may not see me there. You'll see my handiwork there for sure.
Definitely.
It'll be good.
Cool. Have a great weekend, guys.
See you around.